Thanking our YouTube subscribers. Okay. What? Hello, everybody. Paul Richards here with HuddleCamHD.
And Matthew Davis with HuddleCamHD.
We're going to launch today the USB2AIR, the world's first wireless USB 2 extender built for 1080p video.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We're really excited about it. Matt is going to be here to answer any of the technical questions. Matt's our lead engineer.
Or at least do my best. If not, I'll get you answers after the fact.
We're going to go over really the limitations of this product.
Yeah.
When you have a wireless product like this, everyone thinks, oh, what can it do? Well, we're going to kind of talk about what it can't do.
Yeah.
And so that when you back this project and you receive this product, you know that it's going to work for whatever you're trying to use it for, because there's a lot of different things you can use it for.
Yeah, and on that note, we've done our best to rack our brains for the equipment that we use or that we know works for it. That being said, we are totally open to hearing any ideas of USB 2 equipment. Any ideas. We've gotten some great feedback from users already or potential users. So please keep those ideas coming.
So one of the first things we wanted to do was thank our latest YouTube subscribers. So that's going to cover me up a little bit, Matt. Can I come over there?
Yeah, certainly.
So first of all, I wanted to thank John Robert Lightfoot. We wanted to thank Hector Riveras, IR, Troy Edwards, Solo Sports, Stephen Mitura, Jose Diaz, Annette Howard, Elon Team, and KDB. These are all YouTube subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. Here's the next big thing here is we wanted to thank our current Kickstarter backers.
Yeah. You guys have dove in early, and we appreciate it.
Here's our Kickstarter backers: Hamad Ilomira, Yannick Balio, Thomas Kite, Shown Young Skywalker, Rich the 3D Guy, and William Shantz.
Yeah.
Our first ever. Thank you so much. So currently we have 7 backers. Nick is here. He's saying cool production and video overlays. Thank you. This is kind of what we do is live streaming.
Yeah, it is.
And then this is just one extra product that's going to make live streaming for you guys out there. Video production, video conferencing, virtual reality.
Yeah.
So many different things that this product's going to do. So we're going to actually show you a live demo. It's actually working right now. So we're going to zoom into this product, show you what it looks like. And why don't we go ahead and zoom into it, Tess, and show these guys what it looks like. So here's our Cam 2 here. And first of all, I'm going to get rid of this lower third so that you guys can see a little better. This is the product here. So Matt, you want to explain to us what we have here?
Yeah, so what we've got right here for the prototype that we're working on, you've got a transceiver, so it's a transmitter and a receiver. You then have it going to a 4-port hub, because that's about the maximum this can support, is 4 devices if selected properly. We've got power, and then we've got a USB cable that currently is going to a PTZ Optics camera. So what we're going to see here in a little bit is this device wirelessly transmitting that content to a laptop. Now we are currently in a very close proximity, but that being said, you can go easily 12 foot, 10 to 12 foot without proper line of sight. If you get proper line of sight, you can probably get up between 20 to 30 feet out of this product from what we've tested ourselves.
Yes, so what we're going to do is, first of all, it is already connected, but one of the things I was thinking, Matt, is just disconnecting it.
Yeah.
And showing what that looks like.
Yeah, let me stop it and zoom just so that Zoom doesn't get unhappy.
So here, oh, sorry, you already did that. So let's unplug it and replug it. Now I want to show, this is a Windows 10 laptop. See what happens when you unplug it.
So.
Unplugs, and then bring your hand down a little bit. See that right there at the bottom right? It says device disconnected. And then Matt's going to go ahead and plug it in.
Give me a moment as I'm
just
doing
like
it blind.
Regular USB device. You plug it in.
Sorry, everybody. This isn't my laptop. I don't know where my ports are.
Zoom out just a little bit to show. And then when it plugs in, it takes how long do you think it takes?
A moment for it to auto-negotiate here.
It's going to, you should see at the bottom right, this is Windows 10. It takes about, when you plug it in, there it goes, right there. And as soon as that's connected, it's as if it's a direct connection between this camera and the computer. So it's completely wireless. And I don't know, Matt, if you wanted to, did you hold up the computer to show that there is nothing connected?
Yeah, so all we've got is the dongle and power going into the laptop, just because it's a good idea.
Yeah, we don't want to run out of battery. I mean, you could unplug it if you wanted to. But now Matt's going to go ahead and turn the video on, and this is the camera right here.
Woo! So what we're seeing right here, this device, the device itself will introduce no more than 1 millisecond of latency. So if you're getting anything more than that, it's going to be coming out of, your camera, your PC, things like that. This should allow for pretty much instantaneous video.
So yeah, and now let's go ahead and take a look at the bandwidth chart, because that's one of the most important things. Jay Rich is saying that HuddleCamHD can only stream HD with USB 3.0. How can it do it with wireless with USB 2.0? Let's answer that question. And then we'll look at this bandwidth chart in a moment here. So I'll help
So on that question,
Jay Rich.
Okay, Jay Rich. So if you take a look, we also have a HuddleCam, 2 cameras, the HuddleCam 10x720, and we also have a HuddleCam 3x. Both of these cameras are capable of 720 and 1080p feeds over USB 2. The difference comes in the compression methods used. So, certain compression methods will put more of a burden on your PC. Other ones handle it more in the camera, depending on the horsepower that your device has. In this instance, what we're doing is taking USB 2 products, or in the instance of the PTZ Optics as a prime example, that is a USB 3 device, we are setting it into a higher compression method. We're doing H.264 over USB and then bringing it into the laptop.
Let's go ahead and zoom into this camera here. I want to show the back of this. So this is actually a USB 3.0 camera, but we're using a USB 2.0 cable and H.264 compression. So by doing that, it actually allows us to reduce the bandwidth needed to transfer 1080p video.
Correct.
And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and show the next camera, which is the Logitech C920.
It just went dead over here. So we've disconnected the camera. The new one gets plugged in.
And I just plugged in the next camera. So
all right, and it's already showing up. And there's our Logitech C920 or 930. Well,
here it is.
Either way.
So yeah, I think it's a C920 here. Whoop, whoop. And let's talk about latency for a second, Matt.
Yep.
So what I'm being told is less than a millisecond of latency?
Yeah, this device itself will introduce it'll introduce about a millisecond of latency into any data being transferred.
Wow. And so that's really kind of the gist of it. I'd like to go to the bandwidth now and show how that works. So the bandwidth for this device is 30 megabits per second, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's about where it maxes out. If you can eke a little extra out of it, you're lucky, but I wouldn't expect any more than that.
So, looking at this chart here, if you're doing 720p, which is fairly normal, even a high-quality 720p stream is only 5 megabits per second. So technically, you could probably easily have 2 720 feeds on this?
Yes. Yeah, I've done quite a bit of testing with multiple cameras, multiple settings. There's ways to achieve a lot of really neat things with multiple cameras, but that's where you're going to have to sit there and tweak the settings if you're going to be using it for more than a camera at a time. Just make sure everything plays nice with each other, as there is limited bandwidth here.
Yes, there's the bandwidth. Let's talk a little bit about the conceptual design, the prototype that we have here. This is the prototype.
Yeah. So this is the prototype. We've been working with some really, really smart engineers on this one. They've amazed me at every turn, and lo and behold, boom, we get a prototype at this point that we are trying to bring to you, the public. So back in December was kind of when discussions really began about how to achieve something like this. As some of you might have seen in some of our articles, we had a HuddleCam Air, have a HuddlePod Air, we really wanted to bring something non-proprietary that wasn't just built into a device, but allowed you to choose what you wanted to connect to it. And we're trying to accomplish that to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, I mean, and in February we did the big press release. Here we are at the end of February launching Kickstarter, and this is really roughly a 30-day Kickstarter. So we're trying to raise $10,000 on the Kickstarter in roughly a little bit more than 30 days, just so we had a little extra time to work out the bugs, test live streaming on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But everything seems to be working out well. Then finally in May, hopefully maybe even before May, that will be product delivery. So if you're backing this project, just know that it does say on there that product delivery will not be until May, if we're lucky, a little earlier.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do everything we can, depending on the funding levels we get here. It might allow us to do it a little sooner. But yeah, at the moment, it's looking about May for delivery. And if everything sells out, I guess we'll have to start figuring out how to get our next batch made even quicker.
Yes. Once this first batch has been created, we will be able to start delivering the product faster and faster. In fact, speaking of delivery of the product, let's look at the incentives for Kickstarter. As you can see here, a $5 would get you a shout out. Of course, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you get a shout out every week,
Yeah.
at least the last 10. $25, you get a custom t-shirt. At $250, we have a early bird special pair where you can get the early bird pair. If we're having connection issues on Kickstarter for whatever reason, we can actually post the YouTube link, and I'm sure everything's fine there on YouTube. Kickstarter just released this live streaming platform. What I'd really be happy to see is if there is, looks like Jay Lambert saying he's considering to use the USB2AIR to connect laptops such as a touchscreen monitor.
Yes.
Any thoughts?
We have some fantastic thoughts for you on that one. So if you're trying to do something where it's a true USB monitor, not just like a touch interactive monitor, we have done some extensive testing with the Mimo monitors, with Sharp touch interactive displays,
Yes.
and a few others. So if you just have to yet again be aware of the resolution. So the Mimo monitors work really well. We get touch control. We get, I think it's a 720 or 1280 by 800 feet out of it, and that works fantastically. We've had great success with that. That being said, we've also utilized these devices with a Sabrent USB to HDMI. That's a USB 2 model. Along with plugging a Sharp interactive display, the touch interactivity directly into the device. So now what we were able to do is have the video transmit from the PC to the touch interactive display over a form of wireless HDMI, and then we were able to bring the touch control back to the PC. So, this is definitely something this can be used for. Just make sure it's a USB 2 USB monitor that you're looking at.
Yes, there are some USB 3 ones out there that are not going to work. It has to be USB 2. Really good point, Matt. The other thing I wanted to mention is, can we talk a little bit about the virtual reality market?
Yeah, so one of the things that originally occurred with this, obviously, we have a heavy focus on video. That's kind of the world we live in. The engineers we were working with had a big, strong personal interest in virtual reality. And as a result, this product actually accommodates both. Now, that being said, VR is kind of still, to this day, in its infant states. So what we're seeing out there, there's select things that'll work for, some that it doesn't. If it's something you're interested in, please contact us, and we'd be happy to go into a little more detail about what we know it works for and what it doesn't. But the main idea is, you have these headsets and you have these giant cables that are going from the headset and your sensors and gloves and everything else all the way back to a PC. So any extra cables that you can eliminate help. So what we're really looking at doing is eliminating the control cables, sensor cables, things like that. Even up to the video, depending on how you want to handle that. This device has been built to have specific video channels HID channels. It's really kind of designed for conferencing, streaming, and VR at this point, and potentially AR when it matures a little bit more.
Turned off the background music. We seem to always leave the background music on in all of our streams. I apologize.
Kickstarter chat and nobody said anything about it.
Yeah.
I popped over to the YouTube one. I was like,
I think a lot more people are on YouTube now because the stream is so much higher quality. But, you know, Kickstarter's doing a great job, and that's why we're here. What is the projected price of this unit from Brad Abrams?
MSRP, I believe, is $329.
Yes. So $329 makes the incentive discounts roughly in the neighborhood of 15 to, it's actually up to like 25% off.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Roughly. So this is your one chance to get this product at a low early bird price. Once these all sell out here, we are going to have an additional tier if it's within the 30 days of our Kickstarter, where we're going to have lower discounts, longer delivery times.
Yeah, it's going to have to be staggered as, you know, if the Kickstarter does max out here, we are basically offering everything we've got to you, the public, right off the bat. You know, we really think that there's going to be some exciting things, and we get the feeling putting it out there to you, you're going to come back to us with some really exciting use cases, ideas, all sorts of fun things.
questions on YouTube here. We've got a clarification question. The receiver end would go into a video mixer?
No. So this is USB only.
Now, it is possible, like Matt said, to actually use a USB to HDMI adapter.
So if you wanted to get video out of your PC, as an example, you could do that through this. But if you were trying to bring the video, like you have a USB camera plugged in, and you are trying to bring that feed into something else, that's not really what it's meant for. You'd kind of have to use a PC to do that at this point.
So what about HDMI to Air or SDI to Air?
Well, yet again, it would have to be a USB product. So if you can find a USB 2 SDI input, a USB 2 HDMI input, you would be able to utilize that with this system.
Although most of the frame grabbers and things like that are USB 3.
Correct.
That's something we haven't tested, though.
We've done some testing with the USB. Yeah, a lot of them don't really play nice. You start dropping frames. You know, the PTZ Optics camera is able to accommodate a USB 2 connection. It's definitely changing the compression. But that being said, we weren't able to achieve the same things with a lot of the frame grabbers currently on the market.
Yeah, and you don't see any USB 2 frame grabbers.
No, I mean, they might be out there, but at the moment, we've never really had a reason to look into any USB 2 frame grabbers. But as a result of this discussion, I can pretty much guarantee you when I go back to my desk, I'm going to be peeking.
Yeah. So the things, here's another interesting application of something that we found out works quite nicely is, has anyone heard of this Leap Motion? You want to tell us a little bit about this product, Matt?
Yeah, so Leap Motion's really, really neat. Yet again, they have a heavier focus on the virtual reality market, because essentially what it allows you to do, if you had on these goggles, you could mount it up in front, and as you move your hands, it's actually tracking your hands. And the way it does this, here, let me just pull that out. So on this little teeny device, what you're actually going to get is the ability to have IR sensors, and it's got a really little camera in there as well. And as you move around, it's actually sensing where your hand is and the gestures you make. So you are able to do, call presets, control things, interact with other devices, make triggers. It's really a nifty product.
Yeah, so that's just one. I mean, there's so many microscopes. There's USB microscopes, document cameras, microphones,
USB blood pressure monitors.
Yes.
The list kind of goes. We first started talking to some people, and they just started spitting out ideas like the blood pressure monitor. I had never even thought about that use until somebody brought it up.
Yeah, and there's so many USB 2 devices that just simply are not wireless.
Yep.
So that's really why we're going to Kickstarter with this. This is why we're coming to you guys with a huge, hefty discount.
Yep.
To say, hey, get these early, be the early technology adopter, be the enthusiast, the tech enthusiast, and get your hands on this early because we want to hear back from you. We'd love to know what you're using it for.
Yeah, we like user feedback a lot.
Dave also says, what about USB 3? Is it too much bandwidth for wireless technologies?
USB 3 starts stepping into a different realm. There are ways to handle USB 3, but not necessarily in an affordable manner. And at the moment, this specific style of technology is not applicable for USB 3.
So I wonder, though, with the USB 3 frame grabbers, if we used a USB 2 cable.
Yeah, we tested.
We tested that?
Yeah, unfortunately, they just start dropping frames. Seems to be the most common result.
Justin says, so can you send USB mic and camera feed at the same time with this?
Yes. So on that note, as some of you may be aware, unfortunately, it's a little delayed on delivery, but we also have a product called the HuddleCam 3X Audio. So this camera specifically is a 3X pan, tilt, and zoom camera with microphones built in. If you and it's got RS-232 control as well over the same USB line. You plug it in, you get all three things over to your PC. So currently, yeah, you can do audio, you can do video, you can even do control. All as yet again, USB 2, USB 2, USB 2.
Yeah. We already have a USB 2 speakerphone that is in the HuddlePod Air that's shipping. You could buy it from Amazon today. But what you're asking is, and this is a perfect example, is a Logitech CC920 here has a camera and a microphone built right in. So if we pan over a little bit, you'll see that all the functionality of this webcam is inside of the...
yeah, I think over here.
Yeah, I think the monitor right there, you'll see is that, yes, we're getting live video.
But if we go to the join audio, we can see that I'm not going to do it to avoid any loops here, but...
yeah, let's just, if we can zoom in test to that computer. Can you zoom into the computer? I don't know if you guys can see that, but Matt, the Logitech's showing up, right?
Yeah, it's right there, C920. Mm-hmm. And if you really can see, you'll see that the audio bar is bouncing around. Testing, testing. Here, let me see. I actually can get that a little better for people.
There we go.
Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's actually the C920 picking us up. So yeah, audio and video, no big deal. Just focus on USB 2, USB 2. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I really want to drive it home so that nobody's disappointed when they get one of these.
It's USB 2, and it's that bandwidth constraint of 30 megabits per second. So anything plugged into this is going to look like it's plugged directly into your computer, as long as you're not maxing out the bandwidth limitations that we've specified in the documentation.
There are a couple more questions in the chat. Vikram says, will the USB2AIR also allow PTZ camera control? Is there a joystick controller that will work with it?
So on that note, we've done there is some unique things that you can do at that point. So you can plug in a USB to RS-232 adapter along with your camera, and then on your PC side, you'll have the ability to control it from pan, tilt, and zoom software. If you then wanted to attach a joystick, that's something, please contact us directly. It's a little complex, but there are ways to actually attach a joystick directly to your PC so that you would be getting control through your PC to the camera wirelessly using the USB to Air.
Now, so that allows you to do RS-232 controls, which opens up a whole nother world of uses where, if anyone's in the audiovisual industry, RS-232 can be used to turn on televisions and projectors and switches and all kinds of things. But I'm also thinking, Matt, UVC control, like the standard USB control of this camera.
Passes right through.
Passes right through. Okay, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to test that here.
No, we can make a video later to show people if they have interest.
Let's show that in the next. We're going to try to live stream every Friday onto Kickstarter through this process where we're answering questions, showing things. Just read the questions.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Says, based on your chart, it would appear you could stream from 2 cameras and a mic at the same time, correct? Could you display?
You want to do 2 cameras, Matt?
We have actually, give me a moment. I'm going to temporarily disconnect myself from the audio, so you're not going to hear me. But I'm going to come around and I'm going to pull up 2 cameras here. I think you've got VLC on here, hopefully.
I think you can possibly. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, disconnect. I can pass this back to you if you're going to go over there. Here you go. Here's your mic.
Excellent. Oh, yeah. That's a good call.
Do you want me to zoom in on them?
Yeah, if
In
you
a moment.
can.
You
I mean,
guys
if
can
you
talk and chat, and I'll
You
get
can
this
another
set up.
angle maybe. We do have a secondary camera angle we can use with the rookie controller over here helping us out. But yeah, I mean, things are looking good. Could be worse. That's our bandwidth chart there. We talked about that a little bit. And yeah, I was just thinking we would switch to the second cam, but give Matt a little headroom.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
And
I
Matt's
guess
going to show two cameras.
it will help if I plug both in.
There we go. Matt's going to plug both cameras into... So, Tess, what is our preset for this here?
So the middle one is 7.
All right, so let's go to 7.
And everybody, please apologize at the moment. The only thing I've got to do this
There we go.
is going to be VLC, which can be a little problematic at problems.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is coming through crystal clear.
KickStarter's okay right now too.
Kickstarter came back. That's
Well,
good.
Maybe you could answer a question while Matt's setting up. Are there
Okay.
any USB 2 products that you were aware of that don't work so well with this device? Any that are challenging that we know of? Apple compatibility.
No.
So there,
That-
yeah.
we haven't even covered that yet. I was zooming into this. Let's cover the Apple compatibility. This is the 4-port hub here. As you can see, I'm just going to twist it just a
I guess
hair.
that would be the main challenge.
Probably shouldn't twist it too much, but you can see here there's 2 cameras plugged in now. So we're going to try 2 cameras at the same time.
Oops.
Matt's going to pull them in on VLC in a split screen mode. And did you close Zoom just so it's not trying to grab it?
Zoom's not grabbing it, but yeah, I'll shut it down.
So let's just zoom out back here. So Matt's going to show 2 cameras at once now. You know, there's another thing, you know, we probably should have just done from the beginning. We're learning as we go here a little bit. But what was the question, Tess?
If
Products
Oh,
that don't.
products that are problematic. Let's mention the Spotify's playing. Which we should definitely turn off, or our stream might get caught for copyright. There's a lot of streaming issues out there. This is a Windows-only product.
Yep.
There is a piece of software that downloads onto your computer where it comes free with the product that basically is the interface that recognizes the USB drivers. So this is not going to work for Mac. It will work for Windows 7 and above. So that means Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and Windows 10.
Okay.
So now Matt's got 2 cameras displaying at once here.
So the answer is yes, you can do 2
Yes.
cameras at once.
There are 2 live cameras there, as you can see.
And yet again, please
Can we zoom into that, Tess?
apologize for the fact VLC, it introduces all sorts of latency. We all love it. It's a great test tool. You know, it's a little Swiss Army knife, so to speak. But yeah, here we've got the 2 feeds up live at one time. You can kind of see things moving in the background. But yeah, so you know, yet again, it depends on your settings. So sometimes you'd have to tweak it a little bit. But yeah, here you can see, 2 of Matt.
Love that you can see Matt right there.
Yeah, a lot of love for Matt.
So now if we zoom out just a little bit, you know, again, just slowly zoom out. We're just trying to like reveal how this all works. I'm hoping that it's been kind of informative here. You know, we're doing our best to show the limitations. So what Rich I believe he just said, and I'm going to go back to the chart here, is if you've got 2 cameras and 2 audio sources, or 3 cameras and 4 audio sources, as long as you're below the bandwidth limitations, you should be in the clear.
Yep.
David Erie's saying, have you tested it with display links supporting USB camera, HID, and multiple displays?
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second to come back around.
Yeah, and Tess, I guess maybe you could read that to him when he comes over.
Yeah, that one. I think I've got an answer for you, but I'm gonna have to think for a second.
With display links supporting USB camera, HID, multiple displays. Well, we just
So
did multiple displays.
yeah, so display link.
Oh, is that-
Yes, we've tested. So when we did, as an example, the MIMO monitors require display link. Basically, all the USB monitors I've done have required display link. So yes, it works with that. Yet again, if you were doing multiple monitor outputs, you'd have to be very careful about the resolutions that you're using. That's really the main thing.
Can it be used with vMix?
I don't know if we've tested that actually. But that's something we will
There's
test as we're
no
starting
reason
to.
why it shouldn't.
Yeah.
We actually have to go. We have the PTZ Optics live stream at 2 o'clock, and we need some time to get ready.
Are there a couple other questions?
If you want to just roll those questions, we're going to answer them all. Every single
Yep.
Friday of this entire campaign, we are going to be live streaming, answering your questions. Apple support on the horizon?
Unfortunately, not. The chipsets just will not play nice with Linux or Mac operating
So
systems.
no Apple support. It doesn't say there's Apple support. In fact, in the FAQ test, we should add that question.
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
not work with Apple. Anything else?
One more question came in on YouTube. What is the max effective range? Any frequency issues with other wireless and Bluetooth devices?
No, I mean, like everything else in the world, to be FCC certified, it has to be able to be interrupted. But at the moment, using it in heavily congested wireless situations in cities, it has posed no problem. Testing around here where we've got weird emergency wireless signals, it has posed no problem. We also have some heavy duty wireless going on for our internet here. And yet again, has posed no problems with other wireless equipment in house.
All right. Well, guys, if you have more questions or you're watching this on demand and you have questions, post it on our YouTube channel. We'll answer those comments. We will be back next Friday. 4 live streams throughout March.
Woo.
It's a long month, 31 days in March, but we have to go. Thank you so much for watching this. This was
Thank you,
really fun.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.